Want to level up your Disney World experience? Here's a tip I use every time I go into the parks. For most rides, you can request which row you want to sit on. And for Disney World's best rides, that can make a big difference. Hi, I'm James from Guide to WDW. Whether you want to avoid motion sickness or maximize thrills, I'm going to tell you exactly which seat you should request on Disney World's best rides, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to request them. And please remember to keep your hands, arms, legs, and feet inside the vehicle at all times. Para su seguridad. That's all I got. Let's start with Magic Kingdom. On Tron Light Cycle Run, the back row is our favorite because of the intensity, but front row is also incredible. On Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, the back row gets you the most intense ride and a little bit more time with the start of the dark ride scene. On Space Mountain, front row is our favorite for an unpredictable voyage through space. On Big Thunder Mountain, request the back row for the wildest ride in the wilderness. And on Tiana's Bayou Adventure once it opens in 2024, it's the same ride system as Splash Mountain, so sit in the back left if you want to stay relatively dry, or dig a little deeper and request the front row for the best view and the maximum splash. Moving on over to everyone's favorite experimental prototype city of tomorrow, EPCOT. Let's start with Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, which doesn't have a one-size-fits-all best seat. It's no secret that this ride has given people issues with motion sickness. So if you're worried about that, request row 5, which is the middle row. It minimizes some of the feelings of G-force. I also found the second or third row to be a good option for motion sickness, as the intensity feels lower, but you can still orient yourself by looking at the guests in front of you. If you just want to maximize thrills, ask for row 9, which gives you the best thrills and an unobstructed view, or row 10, which is the back row. Before we move on to a gentler ride, be sure to follow Guide to WDW for more Disney World tips and advice. Soar into Tower? Where you sit on Soarin' Around the World makes a huge difference. Request the top middle section. You won't have feet dangling in front of you, and sitting in the middle section minimizes the screen distortion, so the Eiffel Tower won't look like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Now, I posted this tip onto TikTok, and there's some serious love out there for B2, which is the middle section, middle row. A cast member who used to work on Soarin' let me know that Imagineers designed the experience with B2 in mind. Another very kind user said, false! Soarin's absolute best seat? Gate B, row 2, seat 6. All you Disney hack clowns can wait even longer for a mid-experience. Which, accurate. Personally, I like the unobstructed view, and I haven't noticed any screen distortion from B1, but maybe that's just because I'm a Disney hack clown who loves mid-experiences. For the rest of Epcot's rides, I haven't really noticed a difference between where you sit. Let me know in the comments below if you agree. Let's park hop over to Hollywood Studios, which has some of the biggest thrills at Disney World. First, let's walk this way to Rock 'n' Roller Coaster. You'll get an intense ride no matter where you sit, but we love both the front row for the launch and the back row to up the intensity. Slinky Dog Dash is the park's other roller coaster. This ride is much more family friendly, but this dog has a surprising amount of bark and bite with 2 launches. The front row gives a unique view of Slink's head, while the back row increases intensity. On Tower of Terror, the ride will feel pretty much the same from any seat, but front row gives you the best view for your trip into the Twilight Zone. Moving on to a galaxy far, far away, on Star Tours, we love the front row for the view of the 3D screen. Because the ride vehicle pivots from the center, the feeling of motion will be more intense on the perimeter, especially in the corners. If you want the least intense ride, try to sit in the middle of the middle row. But you still might have a bad feeling about this because this ride can cause motion sickness. Over in Galaxy's Edge, Millennium Falcon's Smuggler's Run is another motion simulator, although I find the motion profile to be much less intense than Star Tours. This interactive ride is unique because every row has a different role.
Pilots to navigate, engineers to operate the ship, and gunners to defend the shipments.
Let's be real. Everybody will want to be one of the pilots, especially the right pilot who gets to pull the lever for the jump to light speed. The other roles aren't quite as engaging, but they can be fun too. My personal hot take is that I like engineer much more than gunner. This is one of those rides that doesn't always accommodate seat requests, so you'll have to get lucky to get the role you want. Or if you have a party of 6 that can fill the cockpit, negotiate amongst yourselves over who will take which role. And here's where to sit in Animal Kingdom for the wildest rides. On Kilimanjaro safaris, I personally like to sit on the end of a row to get the best views of the animals. I've had a bit better luck on the left-hand side of the vehicle, but There's really no way to know if the left side or the right side will be better because wild animals tend to be unpredictable like that. One of our many tips on guide2wdw.com is to go to the safari early in the morning because the animals are much more active. So you'll have a better chance of seeing lions and giraffes and elephants, oh my, no matter where you sit. Moving on to Expedition Everest, because this coaster goes both forwards and backwards, the front row gets the best of both worlds. It has the best views, and it feels the most intense during the backwards section because you're actually in the back of the vehicle. And now, Animal Kingdom's most popular ride, Flight of Passage. While this ride is similar to Soarin', you won't have any feet dangling in front of you, and the screen distortion is much less pronounced. Still, if you want the optimal experience, sit in the middle section of the middle row, seats 7 or 8.
And, fly.
Seats 1 and 16 are on the ends of each row, so the screen will be the most warped from those seats, especially if you're on the top or bottom sections, because essentially you're in the corner of the screen. Now, how do you get these seats? Just ask the cast member who is loading the attraction. This is typically the person near the load station who asks you how many members of your party there are. You may have to wait a few minutes longer, but it's always worth it, especially for these rides. I found that the best policy is just to ask politely. While I've personally never had a seat request denied, just remember that these requests aren't guaranteed. What do you think the best seats are at Disney World? Let me know in the comments. And if you're looking for more tips to maximize your Disney World vacation, you're not going to miss this video here. There it is. I'll see you real soon.